let's solve some equations here. So as our first example, I have 4 over v equals negative 8. 4 over v equals negative 8. So I'll try to show a couple different techniques here. First first technique I'll use here is to multiply both sides by the LCD, the least common denominator of both sides. So the only denominator we really have here is the variable v. So multiply both sides by v. What does this yield? Well, on the left, the v's are going to cancel out. So the only thing you're left with is the number, and the number was 4. On the right-hand side, we have negative 8 times v. And if you take negative 8 times v, you get negative 8v. Now notice by multiplying by the LCD, the least common denominator, we've now turned our problem into something that's all on one line. There's no more fractions, or I guess more appropriately, rational expressions. So to isolate v, we just have to knock off that negative 8. We're going to divide both sides by negative 8. And notice that here we then get negative 8's canceling out, leaving a v, and 4 divided by negative 8, which would be the number negative 1/2. So this problem is v equals negative 1/2. In the second example, let me do a different technique here. Do what's called a cross multiplication technique, or a proportion technique, because you can view this as a ratio on the left of 9 over u and a ratio on the right of negative 3 over 1. The cross multiplication technique would be to multiply like this and multiply like that and see what you get. So if we do this, 1 times 9 is 9, and u times negative 3 is negative 3u. Okay. Now that doesn't quite isolate the variable, but notice it gets us to the same stage as the last problem did. We now have to figure out what the variable u is actually equal to. So we will divide both sides by negative 3. And notice that on the right-hand side, negative 3's cancel, so you're left with a u. And on the left-hand side, 9 divided by negative 3 is the number negative 3. So this answer is negative 3. I have one for you to try on your own. Pause the video and see if you can solve 6 over u equals negative 4. And assuming you've taken a shot at this, either by one of the other methods on the previous page here, we're going to try to do this one in yet another way, a third way of doing the problem. For this example, let me take this, and we'll do even another color here. We'll take the green color, and I'm going to reciprocate both sides. So I'm going to actually physically change this into a u over 6 by performing a reciprocal. And just like often a rule in math is whatever you do to one side, you got to do to the other. And if you take the reciprocal of negative 4, you get negative 1/4. Now notice the only thing that's keeping us from our present, our u, is the fact that we're dividing by 6. So the inverse operation of division by order of operations would be multiplication. So I'm just going to simply multiply both sides by 6. Well, what do we get there? On the left-hand side, the 6's cancel, leaving us with u. And on the right-hand side, we have negative 1/4 times 6, which is negative 6/4. So in a problem that requires some reduction here, notice 6 and 4 both have a common factor of 2. So we should probably write this as negative 6 divided by 2 is 3 over 4 divided by 2.